I'm constantly tired of hearing this over and over again. Yes, interest rates are rising and they will continue to do so. The Reserve Bank of Australia have to do something to combat inflation we're facing. In this video, I'll cover a couple of articles from key experts and key figures around this topic, around interest rates, as well as show you a interest calculator, or a calculator where you can see how much your mortgage repayments will increase based on the interest rate changes. So stay tuned for that. As I was iterating before, we are currently sitting at a cash rate of 1.85% as of August 2022. So if I pull up a graph of the RBA's cash rate for the last 50 years or so, you can see that we're still in a low interest rate environment. Like, yes, interest rate is rising, but it's still quite low if you consider the grand scheme of things. The other problems at hand, like inflation and the cost of living increasing, yes, but that's a separate thing. But in terms of interest rates, we're still sort of in the okay. It's still quite low. What I'll now do is I'll go through a couple of perspectives from key figures in this area and let's see what they think. The chief economist of CommSec, Craig James, believes that the Reserve Bank of Australia will increase the cash rate by a basis of 25 points in the months of August, September, and November. However, unfortunately, we're now in August and the RBA has increased the cash rate by a total of 50 basis points. So we went from 1.35 the cash rate to 1.85. But the bigger problem lies with the official predictions. So if we were to continue this route or go along with the chief economist at CommSec's prediction, the official cash rate will be sitting at around 2.1% by the end of the year. That is insane. Just from April, where we are normal at our 0.10% rate, we had sudden hikes and now we're finally at 1.85%, heading into 2% possibly next year, which is quite a dramatic rise. And just to give you a better understanding or a better figure, so according to this article, using these rate predictions, a mortgage owner with the average Australian mortgage of $615,000 could be expected to spend an extra $991 on their repayments between July to December. This is equivalent to $1,000 almost. And this is based on someone with a 30-year loan with the average Australian variable rate of interest being 3.93%. I know most of you would have a lower interest rate, but according to this article, this is the scenario. And according to Money Smart's mortgage calculator, an increase from 3.93% to 4.18% would see the monthly repayment increase by $89, or from $2,911 to $3,000. And a further increase of 25 basis points in September would see repayments increase to $3,091, which means borrowers would need to fork out an extra $180 each month compared to what they were paying in July. This isn't necessarily a big issue in the small micro scale, but it can become bigger, especially if your finances aren't necessarily sorted properly. So should banks pass on another 0.25% increase in November, monthly repayments would further increase to $3,182, representing a 271 increase in repayments in just 4 months. That is crazy. As I mentioned earlier in the video, there's also a calculator where this article's from. So you can see how you'll be impacted by the rises in the interest rate. So you can literally put up your loan amount, put in your details like interest rate, how much the rate's increased by, and see how much your monthly repayments will increase. I'll put a link of this in the description so you can try it out yourself and see how much you'll pay. It goes XYZ rate. So definitely try that out. Hopefully when you play around with this calculator and do it with your own sort of scenario, you can't really do it obviously if you have a fixed and a variable loan because it's based on variable. Because I know a lot of people split, including myself. So just imagine it if you're like fully variable, but it's not as bad as people or the media make it out to me. They make it out to be like a bloodbath. Like it can only be a bloodbath if you have other problems, unfortunately, going on. Maybe your finances aren't necessarily sorted or you're sort of living paycheck to paycheck, which is a different problem altogether of its own compared to the interest rate rise. The real problem becomes here is the cost of living and how that's skyrocketing. We had fuel prices going crazy. Now they're sort of stabilizing with sort of the tax offset they did. I mean, we're still paying for it some indirect way, I bet. But aside from that, just everyday expenses like labor is increasing, food and groceries, rent went up rapidly for a lot of people, which is really unfortunate. It's just all around chaos and that doesn't help. So I hope this video gave you a clearer outline of what's actually going on and how you can methodologically and rationally calculate how much this will affect you, whether it'll be an extra $40 a month you fork out or maybe 70, 80, depending on the size of your mortgage, obviously, and how it isn't too big of a deal. So you can sort of relax a bit, be cautious, but just relax and understand it's not that big of a problem. Besides that, I hope you enjoyed this video, found something useful, found some insights. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you have a fabulous day ahead of you. Goodbye.